We all feel it. It's inescapable a lot of the time. Even when you're in a room filled with people, you can still feel it. For me, I feel this painful emptiness in my chest. It'll hurt, but nothing is there, so my mind creates reasons why I feel like this. Why am I lonely?
Simply put, you're not good enough for people, Shakestar.
Oh wait, you're right. For others, it might be different. We all have our reasons why we're lonely. Then there's that feeling of loneliness, that feeling of unrequited love. From your crush or a relationship you thought was going super well, and then it hits the brakes out of nowhere and just ends. So thus, you're just left there longing, craving, and praying for a person who might not even feel the same way back. What do you do when this feeling hits? Do you spend time with your friends or family, or do you indulge in the most unhealthiest vices to escape the pain? Matsukazu Katsura is a Japanese mangaka. His works include Wingman and Zetman. What the fuck is Zetman? He's been in the industry for decades, and he's most popular for his character designs. He worked on the gorgeous and underrated Iria anime from 1994 and Tiger and Bunny. I don't like Tiger and Bunny. Actually, he was really close friends with Akira Toriyama spanning back to the 80s. They even worked on a collaborative manga together in 2008. But of all his body of works, his most popular is his 1989 manga.
I see. Unrequited love, is it? Don't let it get you down though, okay? They just don't understand you. You've got a lot to offer another person. I know I'm not much, but how would you feel about letting me be the one to cheer you up?
Spanning 13 volumes and released in Weekly Shonen Jump, it would get a live-action adaptation in 1991, but in 1992 there would be a 7-episode OVA. It would be animated by the branch studio of Tatsunoko, IG Tatsunoko. Also, keep the name of Tatsunoko in mind for other videos because they're one of the most important anime studios ever to exist.
Stop crying, it won't do any good. And anyway, you have a lot of work to do, starting right now.
With the manga spanning 13 volumes, it was released in Weekly Shonen Jump. It would get a... Oh, I already read that part. It's no secret that the world of anime is as popular as it is because it provides escapism to one of its highest degrees.
Wouldn't you like to be the person who controls the giant robot and save the day?
But Video Girl Eye plays with the notion of escapism, reality, and unrequited love in such an intriguing way that it stood the test of time as one of my most favorite and also most unforgettable OVAs. Okay, it's not my favorite anime of all time. Shit, I wouldn't even put in my top 10 favorite anime. But honest to God, I do like this anime a lot, and I do appreciate it for what it's worth. So let's talk about it, actually. Yota Martucci is our hopeless romantic protagonist. After finding out his crush Moemi has feelings for another guy, Takashi, Yota buys a VHS tape at a mysterious blockbuster-like rental store. He rents a video girl, which is essentially a girlfriend on a VHS tape made to cheer him up. When Yota puts the VHS tape into his broken VCR, the video glitches and out jumps Ai Amano. After shenanigans and them opening up to each other, Ai promises to help Yota build up the confidence to ask out his crush Moemi. That's till we find out that Ai actually develops feelings for Yota. That's right, Moemi likes Takashi, but Yota likes Moemi, and Ai likes Yota! With limited time on Ai's VHS tape running out and Moemi, Takashi, and Yota's interactions developing, the anime keeps you entranced with who will love who, and how will this end for our characters you'll grow to love in the course of 6 episodes. I am not a humongous fan of fan service. I really feel like it distracts from the anime, and it's not always really funny a good majority of the time. Sadly, this anime does have fan service that particularly isn't funny, but the comedy that is not fan service is actually really good. I really feel like both the Japanese and English dub do a really good job of portraying the quirky little humorous moments while perfectly nailing its emotional moments. Top it off with some beautiful, really good solid animation and a gorgeous muted color palette, and the character design being really strong. I like how Ai's design and style contrast from all the other characters, giving her this idealized anime girl look in the real world, dealing with real world people drama, but it never feels distracting and it feels very subtle.
I also very much like Ai's fits. Girl knows nothing else but drip, to be honest.
And I'm a humongous fan of how this story treats its characters and themes and how well the characters and its themes go along with each other. And I'm going to be honest with you, the subplot with the VHS tape running out of time has a major effect on the ending that I'm not going to spoil. Yeah, I don't want to tell you guys how this anime ends because it's so shocking and heart-wrenching that it would be a disservice to the anime itself. Another strong suit of this anime is Yota.
What am I gonna do with you?
I feel like in a weaker anime it would portray him as such a loser, or someone to be pointed and laughed at, but I really appreciate that this anime really goes out of its way to portray Yoda's pain, making him sympathetic and never letting him go down that journey of, I'm a nice guy and I deserve a GF because I'm a nice guy. Yoda is a nice guy in the aspects of what these quote-unquote nice guys think they are, but in actuality aren't. There's this real humbleness and humility to the character that I very much appreciate. When he finds out that Moemi does not have feelings for him, he instead helps Moemi come to grips with her feelings for Takashi. It's clear he values his connection and friendship with her more than anything, even if it is a bit to his own detriment. He's the main character that we follow. We never get to meet his parents. They're soon to be away on a business trip, so he has this entire place to himself, adding on to the anime's underlying theme of loneliness. Animation, being a visual medium off the bounds of reality, really lends itself to being able to depict scenarios and feelings that can only be imagined, drawn, and illustrated frame by frame. It can depict happiness in a way that may be hard to describe or even show in live action. The same goes for sadness, with the use of color, having the right frame fully congested to the point things are floating in the air, or having a room completely empty. There are so many ways to depict sadness and even ever more so loneliness. And I really feel that's one of the strong suits of this anime, and especially when depicting Yota. By following his story and his actions and how he interacts with the people in his life, you can get this weird loneliness where there are characters still there in frame around him, but still that odd sense of lack of expected connection. And that could really be relatable to not just the idea of romantic loneliness, but also to the idea of platonic loneliness. Yoda's best friend Takashi is shown to be one of his closest friends, but still there's that disconnect of his friend dating his crush, and it feels like a different form of loneliness, isolating Yoda into not ever feeling that connection he could feel and we want him to feel. The fullness of at least, or the half fullness. In that loneliness, there's Ai to comfort him, and as annoying and cutesy she is, there's this bond she makes with him that even makes her go against her own programming. Amongst Ai going against her programming and Yoda's feeling of loneliness, there's Moemi, a character that even as an adult I can relate to, liking two different people for two different reasons, and wondering which one you should go after despite being in denial about the feeling about the other person. Though the anime doesn't really properly explore it as much as I would have liked that it did, the way how it handles it, it's very mature, and it never feels like it's thinking less or putting Moemi down for feeling the way that she does. Then there's Takashi, and as much as he does his little gaslighting thing at the end of the anime, I think we can all relate to doing something that we would not characteristically do, or do something that we really wouldn't recommend as being the right thing. And in all honesty, that's a real trait. Look, it doesn't excuse what he does, but it does explain what he does to a certain degree, and it doesn't make it good, but it definitely doesn't make me hate the character or anything. He's just put in a weird position. You and I know human beings. Human beings can do some pretty toxic things. Everyone has red flags, but some people are stop signs, never forget that. Speaking of red flags, I'm looking for a they he or a they she with a septum piercing and a really bad hair dye job to swoop me off my feet. Preferably you have parental issues, please. Oh, fuck. And though the anime does not go really into depth about what he's doing being wrong, like Moemi's trial, he's handled with a level of respect, and it doesn't make him any less or any more sympathetic, it just makes Takeshi, Takeshi. And from whether the characters are doing something that's right or something that characters are doing that's wrong, this anime, in a very odd way, feels so relatable to this feeling of stuck between two people, relatable in this feeling of doing the wrong thing because you're expecting the right outcome, and ever more so that theme and that feeling of loneliness. I want you to understand and keep in mind that there are 7 billion people plus on this planet. All of us are different people. All of us have different outcomes, some good, some bad, some terrible, some great, some in between, and that's 7 billion different kinds of experiences, and all of us can relate to the feeling of loneliness because I know you felt it before and I know that I felt it before, and I have friends that love and care for me now, but there's moments when I felt like I didn't. I felt like I was truly alone. I made sure that when I was writing this review that I was coming from more of a personal place than just a reviewer's place to tell you that you're not alone. So many people feel the way that you do, even if it feels like no one does. Trust me, people do, and the worst thing that you could do is to become recluse or just stick to the rivers and lakes that you're used to. I would say that's not something that you should do. I think the best thing that you could do when you're feeling down like this is to step out of your bounds, to do the things that you normally would not do, to find a new craft, a new thing to love for yourself. Because at the end of the day, no matter what, you're stuck with you. You need to do what's right by you, and no one else can do that other than you. I say this because there's a moment in this anime when Yoda sees that there's that manga competition, and then he kind of comes to the resolution that being a mangaka is something that he wants to do, and it makes him feel good, and makes him feel better, and he's able to lock in and do his own thing. And though I don't expect you to become a full-fledged comic artist, if whatever you're doing makes you feel better about yourself, then I definitely feel like you should go toward it. And I feel like that little moment in the anime spoke to me so well that sometimes, as corny as it is, you just gotta lock in on yourself. Come to grips with who you are and appreciate the intricate beauties of you. I feel like one of my favorite shots in this anime is this one right here. Yoda fawning over Moemi, Moemi fawning over Takashi, while Takashi stares at the theater screen oblivious to Moemi or Yota. And just thinking back on it, I'm like, damn, the reason why this shot stands out to me is because I've been in all these positions before. Though it's not my favorite anime of all time, I really do love Video Girl Eye. Definitely watch it. You'll be greeted with pretty animation, great characters, and a heart-wrenching finale that'll just hurt to watch. Hey, and it's Valentine's Day coming up, so if you're alone on Valentine's Day, maybe do yourself a favor and watch Video Girl Eye. Cry a little bit or laugh a little bit. I don't know. Do whatever you want to do. And hey, don't forget, you're a whole lot more powerful than you think you are.